Welcome, race fans, to SVR Racing and the S2 division, the second tier on our high downforce SF23 Formula One-like division. My name is Webbo, here to join you for the coverage today. This is how things look after the start to our fabulous season so far in S2. 2 rounds down, and obviously 11 to go. Empire leads the standings so far on 33 points, with Jose in second place on 26. Lou has 22, and Blondin and Liquid Gecko are joint 4th position with just 1 second for me, with 21 points. John Pauly has 14 points, and he is currently sitting in 6th. We've got Enigma in 7th place with Nintendo, Focal, Jailhouse Chris, Amac, Cyrus, Run DMC, and Alehoid. There for Jan Placht at the back, having, I think, not actually taken part so far. I think that says DNP did not participate, I think, rather than did not start. So that's the situation with the driver standings at the moment. Then if we want to have a look at, of course, the team standings, Brokaga lead here in S2 with the fabulous Delesi squad just 1 point behind on 115 points, on 47, 115 overall when taking into account the entire divisional breakdown. Team Mega are 3rd in S2 on 40 points, with Bugstein sitting in 4th place with 31. We have Kimmy's in 5th place with 30. It's super close, with Coach Dave Academy on 20 points. Jan Placht, however, really struggling to get off the mark here in this season, with just 3 points at the bottom currently of the S2 team standings. We are at the fantastic historic circuit of Suzuka for the next round of the championship. We look forward to getting trackside and waiting to see what happens today. I hope those of you watching live with us are ready for some racing and haven't had the results spoiled like me. I haven't actually heard any issues from anybody, and let's get ourselves trackside so that I can get down to business here on the next round of the championship. Just a reminder, this is the VR Sim Racing World Championship. All our drivers are VR drivers. They have all been verified as such, and are all competing on equal terms for this fabulous competition. Enigma is in 14th place after qualifying for Coach Dave. We've got Ads here, who is debuting with us and didn't have time to set an exact team livery, so he's going to be racing a Red Bull today at Suzuka. So I wonder if that will give him any additional boost. Cyrus is sitting in 12th position with Liquid Gecko for the Kimmy's Racing team in 11th. John P starts in 10th for Delesi with the Bugstein car Nintendo, driven by Nintendo, in 9th. In 8th place, Amac sits there in the lead Kimmy's position with the lead Bugstein driver. Run DMC is in 7th. Jailhouse Chris is 6th. Vice is 5th. We have then Focal starting higher up this time for Team Mega in P4, with Jose Luis Cervantes in P3. The Mexican driver leaving no doubt as to his country of origin on his rear wing for Brokaga. Then at the front row, as last time, but I think we will have a strong competition between Empire in P2 and V8 Eater for Team Mega in P1. Well, hopefully you're ready to get underway with us. We've got 26 laps of this beautiful Suzuka circuit. It's looking a little bit dark, it's looking a little bit murky, certainly cold and chilly conditions with the threat of rain. Let's see what happens as we get ready for this round 3 of the championship. We've got 3, 4 and 5 red lights. It's time to get going. and it's dropped the clutch, and go, go, go. Empire away beautifully initially. He's got that inside run towards the first corner, but Jose Luis is spamming the overtake button to try and get ahead here of V8 Eater, who runs side by side with Empire for the time being, but Empire with that inside line and the medium tyres, similar to V8 Eater, gets himself up and ahead beautifully into first position. Vice is in 5th, Amac is in 6th, Focal is in 7th. We've got John P, we've got Cyrus the Great. All our drivers are starting very nicely indeed, although that Red Bull is looking a little bit troublesome there for Enigma to deal with, as he's currently levitating on the track. That's I've never seen quite such horrendous lag before in my life, but there it is, as Enigma is having to try and deal with that particular situation right now. Liquid Gecko, Run DMC at the back of the grid at the moment, fighting over that final position as they head down in towards the Kobayashi hairpin. Liquid Gecko with the inside line, but he has to brake a little bit earlier, gets a little bit of overzealous turn from the rear end, and is down in that 14th place. Then Empire leads V8 Eater as they head out of Spoon 2 for the first time. Jailhouse Chris has managed to get ahead of Jose Luis. Let's try and find out exactly what happened there, because Jose, I think, boxed in slightly as he went side by side for a moment. The second team mega car of Focal running wide on the outside, but Jailhouse Chris just taking advantage of Jose's inability at the start to get around of the pole position man V8 Eater, and unfortunately being boxed out of position, as these S's are wont to do to you. Focal recovering nicely into P7 it seems, and not losing too much in the way of track position, and now hoping to try and get himself into a nice rhythm as he just navigates through Degner 1, and that was right on the limit of adhesion. Looks like most of our drivers have started on the medium tyres. We've got Nintendo starting on the hard tyres, and Ads starting on the softs. We won't be able to pay Ads a great deal of attention today, unfortunately, and he is actually travelling at 90 degrees to the car direction. Run DMC picked up damage early doors, and on the hard tyres, an absolute nightmare situation for a hard tyre starter. And back to the action as we saw it before. Empire leading V8 Eater, and Jailhouse Chris with Jose Luis Cervantes in 4th position, and a little gap developing back to 5th, which is Vice out there in 5th place as the leaders start to spread out. Vice is doing well. I think the lead hard runner here at this early stage of proceedings, as the leaders go through the Casio triangle here. Vice is dealing with that, and dealing with a difficult handling car at this stage, but hopefully starting to get some rhythm, starting to get some heat into the tyres. He checks out his mirrors and sees exactly how far back Amac actually is right now. As we run through Amac, then Focal, then Cyrus the Great fighting with John P. Cyrus down the inside into turn 1. John P left to deal with a difficult handling car on the outside. Rejoining is incredibly hard for John P, but he managed to do it without too much drama, but he did lose a further 2 positions, so just getting out of the racing line on the way into the corner, and one thing led to another, losing 3 positions within that sector. And there is Run DMC with the damage, which is not repairable in the race until you've pitted, and we run heavy simulation level damage here in SVR, and he's clearly still struggling to turn the car to the right and presumably to the left as well, even more so with that damage to the front right suspension. Liquid Gecko in 13th position, not too far back though at this stage is the second Buckstein driver of Nintendo on the hard tyres, but up at the front as they were on the last time out of Spoon 2. The drivers just being pretty patient at this stage with proceedings. We have just had an accident, unfortunately. That looks like it's Enigma. Enigma having to deal with the lag here on the car in front. That is utterly horrible, and let's hope he doesn't suddenly unghost on Enigma. He's trying to get some clear vision to the racetrack. And then are we going to see a compounded problem? We're going to see a rejoin there potentially. That was problematic. Let's have a look at this one as we come in. What kind of vision are we going to have? Well, unfortunately, just exiting, re-entering the track directly in the path of the Buckstein car, and I wonder if Enigma is going to suffer further attention then from the stewards. Empire opening the gap here to V8 Iter early doors. Is V8 Iter keeping his powder dry and reserving the tyres, or is Empire just unlocking a huge amount of pace out front and being able to get that clear air onto the front wing? Looks like Jose is closing in here on Jailhouse as we run through. This is the Coach Dave Academy car of Jailhouse Chris, being chased down by the Bro Carga black and green of Jose Luis from Mexico. Running into the first two corners we go, and certainly knocking on the door of striking distance is Jose, but he'll have to play follow my leader through the S's unless he's feeling particularly adventurous. Let's just check out. I wonder if we've got a possible change for position coming between Liquid Gecko, Nintendo. We've got a pair of Kimmies and a pair of Bugstein cars racing line astern at this stage. Oh dear, let's not focus on that particular situation as we run into the next corners. Looks like Jailhouse just stretching away slightly from car number 24 at this stage. I'm wondering what that blue thing on the rear wing is of the Bro Carga car. I don't know if I've noticed that before, but something blue and white. It sort of sticks out a little bit, like the HP on a Ferrari at the moment. Doesn't quite fit with the palette, perhaps, of the current livery for Bro Carga, but I'm sure it's got all the corporate clearance, or at least the dollars being paid are sufficient to mitigate against it. This is Nintendo then closing in on Liquid Gecko, the Kimmy's driver, in front, and they're both catching here. Cyrus the Great. Nintendo getting those hard tyres up to temperature. It's lap 3 of 26 only. These long, torturous laps of the Suzuka circuit, of course. And Nintendo then riding along and trying to keep the tyres in a good operating window. That was a mistake, it looks like, from Liquid Gecko, running slightly long, then starting to feel the tyres getting dirty and cold, running offline. And is this an opportunity? No overtake being used down this pass down the start-finish straight for Nintendo as he heads down towards turn 1 and 2. Not able to capitalise, but another lock-up then, this time from Liquid Gecko as he runs through into turn 2, just snatching that rear axle brake and then kicking up the dust. And Liquid Gecko definitely feeling the pressure at this stage, and there a full-on slide from Liquid Gecko through the next couple of corners. Definitely going to give a style point for the hold there, but he's clearly just getting into all kinds of difficulty. Will Nintendo decide to go down the inside into Degner 1? It's not quite on, and a little wiggle towards Degner 2 for Liquid Gecko. Let's see if now using the overtake button, perhaps Liquid Gecko 2, because we're not really closing. A look perhaps down the inside, and Liquid Gecko unfortunately driving straight off the circuit, suffering massive understeer at that stage on the brakes, maybe leaving the braking a little bit too long, and dropping back behind both Nintendo and behind AMAC, or AMAC. I'm going to go with AMAC because it's a little bit easier to read out. And then we've got Run DMC as well in P12 for the Buckstein Transport Service. John P is in 13th place, and we've got Enigma at the back after that incident we saw a couple of laps previously. Empire still leads against V8 Iter, but we didn't catch Jose Luis Cervantes' overtake on Jailhouse Chris. We probably better go and see what happened there. I'm going back a long way before to find that one. We're almost a lap, are we? All the way back. Let's just check this one out then. As we follow him in chase camp down into the Casio triangle, looking quite normal on the way through here. Oh, it's just a complete snap round. Wasn't an overtake as such as it was a mistake by Jailhouse Chris, sadly. So let's just skip on one lap because we really did have to rewind a long way back there. Jose Luis then into P3 now, and can just about still see V8 Iter in front. And at the moment, it's looking like V8 Iter is starting to close, I think, on Empire at this stage. We've also got the second team megacar, but this time he is being chased by Vice, who has lost a position so far. Vice still on the hard tyres, as you would expect. The medium tyres running through to lap 5 with comfort at this stage. I wonder if the drivers will be trying to target the one stop here, split the race into 1/3 and 2/3 divisions for the tyre wear, or are they wishing to stay and utilise medium tyres only, which will probably have to two-stop. What else is happening right now? The Bergstein cars are close together as we head down in towards the 200R before then into Spoon 1. Rum DMC will just have to start being a little bit wary that his exit will be compromised thanks to the dirty air of starting to catch the car in front. He's using the overtake just to mitigate against that loss of time as he comes out of Spoon 2 and try not to leave himself giving the tow back to John P. Enigma in 14th place still. I think he's pitted, he has, and he's having to get this stint underway then nicely. V8 Eater is closing, but not quickly on Empire. V8 Eater with the fastest lap of lap 2, 1:37.655 at this stage. 37.8 was the last lap by Empire, only a 37.7 from V8 Eater, so just 1/10 of a second separating these two at the head of the field as they're actually catching Enigma already, and that's a yellow flag. That's a yellow flag for a car off the circuit. It's a DeLacy car, I think that's John P. And Empire will be crestfallen to be putting a lap on a crashed teammate there for a moment, and it looks like taking quite a while, I think, to get himself righted. We'll perhaps just play this back and see what happened to John P, but I think he will have suffered quite a bit of damage as a result of that contact. Is it just going to be problematic going through Spoon? It looks like he got a bit of oversteer first part of Spoon. Got a feel of like a controller driver here almost. And then it's a tank slapper. He got a spin one way, tried to correct, wipes out the front wing. Unfortunately, does John P. And that's a problem, and presumably headed towards pit road to get some attention on that front wing, get a replacement going here as Empire and V8 Eater for the 6th time at racing speed go through 130R, which is a left-hander. The R means the radius of the corner, not the direction of the corner. It's not left and right, it's a radius, which is why you have a 200R and a 100R in Fuji as well. It's Jailhouse Chris in P4, who was passed by Jose Luis thanks to a slight error on his part, and it looks like Vice is now closing right in on the back of Focal here. So this is the Jamplakt Interiors driver, one of our 7 title sponsors of the teams, and he is then, his target is quite clear as Focal has passed him, but he will be suffering a little bit of tyre wear and having to be very, very careful. Meanwhile, of course, the dark clouds overhang this circuit and threaten to cause issue at some stage later in the race. I have no idea whether rain actually falls or not, but it's certainly going to keep the drivers guessing and keep them checking their weather radar as well. Vice in P6, behind him absolutely nobody for a long stretch. Ads racing in P7, who we cannot watch, unfortunately, in the Red Bull livery today. And then braking heavily into the Kobayashi hairpin, getting perhaps better turn-in, better braking performance now at this stage. Only on lap 7, the medium's already starting to fade, and Vice is using that boost to get himself out of the hairpin and try and catch a distant tow from the back of the Team Mega car on the medium tyres at this stage. But Vice still our primary hard tyre runner, and with a big gap behind, could well be in a comfortable position later on in the race. We will see what the drivers manage to work, but almost certainly going long here today, Vice, until he can maybe one stop for a set of mediums. A big mix of strategies are available to our SF23 drivers here in the championship. They can run 1, 2, 3 stops, 1, 2, 3 different compounds. It's completely down to them and how they best want to get through a race portion. So we will see how it all works out in the full course of time. And as Cyrus the Great is challenging down into the Casio Triangle, and that was a move put on Amac, and it's put Amac so far off the racing line, unfortunately, that Nintendo has managed to sneak on through, and Amac to double and add insult to injury, he struggles. We're going to watch that one again. We're going to go chase cam and see what happens. Down the inside comes the Jamplacht. We try to turn into a gap that is always disappearing, and then in an unfamiliar part of the circuit we press down on the loud pedal, and unfortunately we mini spin, and then, well, I think that will get away with that rejoin. I think just the degree of difficulty and then the visibility back to the Run DMC Buckstein Transport Service car, I think it's okay, but you'll have to let me know in the comments whether you think that would have be looked at by the stewards or be appealed by the chasing Buckstein driver. I think if he managed to clear it without incident, probably let it go and put it in the memory banks and press delete. John P at the back of the grid, having fallen down in the order early doors with the damage and damage repair. New set of hard tyres now for him. We've got Leigh first and last at this stage. Empire leading V8 Eater. V8 Eater not letting Empire get away. And look at the similarity between the two drivers' lap times. This is pretty crazy how close they are. Within 2 or 3 tenths of a second of each other in the last 4 or 5 laps. This is going to set us up for a fantastic battle throughout the course of the remaining 11 races of this wonderful VR Sim Racing World Championship, and it might be the second tier, but this is definitely matters a great deal to our drivers. Bragging rights, promotion possibility, the end of the season, huge prizes to be won, and that is what is driving our fantastic pilots here. We've got Weiss in P6 still, continuing to follow in the wheel tracks of Focal, and then I think we've got some action starting to develop here. The Buckstein driver Nintendo, slowly but surely bringing his hard tyre car up the order. All the performance is equalised across the cars. They may look different, they may even have differently badged engines, but for this SF23 S2 division, our drivers are all in equal machinery. But they obviously, the different strategies and setups that are available to them. You can see the medium starting to die off, and the hard tyres. I think the drivers will probably be targeting lap 11 or 12 to get the medium tyres through to for their first stop. And Nintendo almost getting too close through there through Degner, and then unfortunately using the throttle off track picks up a penalty, and that's going to cost him 2 seconds off throttle on the way out of Spoon 2 and down the backstretch, as it's called. Behind them, still within sight, is Amac in the Kimmy's Racing Team car. And let's see, what have we got here? Run DMC and Liquid Gecko competing over 11th and 12th positions, and Run DMC opening the door there, and Liquid Gecko walking straight through it, and that was through the Kobayashi hairpin, and a nice worked pressure move there from him. Enigma in 13th has got himself ahead of John P, who's on those fresh hard tyres, and Empire then starting to unlock a little bit of additional speed against V8 Eater, who had a rough lap, half a second slower that time out. Following them through is Jose as he comes through that hairpin, and behind him the Coach Dave Academy car of Jailhouse Chris. So we've got Leigh from Team Mega, from Brocargo, from our Coach Dave car, from Kimmy's, from Jamplacht, excuse me. 5 different teams in the top 5, which is tremendous, and says something about our brilliant seeding system, where we have chosen how we've chosen our drivers to team up together this season through. Just looking for a closer battle for you. This is Focal and Weiss. Weiss having now got past Focal, and that difference is starting to be really apparent now that the hard tyres of Weiss and those positions reversed again. Weiss in that 5th place, heading down into the Casio Triangle at speed. last lap time of 140.5. Focal's at 142.2. It means that Focal is almost certainly off circuit, and perhaps an unforced error, or maybe a forced error. Difficult to say at this stage. But the Lamborghini badged Racimdo sponsored Yamplacked interior black and gold SF23 moves forward into P5. Still the lead hard tyre runner. Look at those dark clouds over the circuit. I don't want to bang on about it too much because I might talk myself into a situation where it never actually rains. But if I were a driver in this position, let's ride on board with Focal, I would keep looking at the sky and my weather radar and be suitably concerned. The fuel is burning off, but not very quickly here at this stage. They start on full tanks of fuel, and Focal then may not have to put a great deal of fuel in the car. We are past the 1/3 distance. We're heading in towards the 1/2 distance on its on the way at the moment. And as I say, sadly for ads, I'm not going to be able to watch him. I think he's using ASDL dial-up internet, it seems. Certainly that's the throttled speed he's dealing with as he runs through. Cyrus the Great is in P8. Nintendo is in P9. And then Amac in that P10 with Liquid Gecko. Second of the Kimi's cars. We've got Kimi's in 10th and 11th. We've got Buckstein cars in 12th and 9th, I think it was. And then Enigma and John P at the back at this stage. Here he is, John P in the Delesi. His teammate in the identical liveried Delesi, except for, of course, the number on the car. As from Empire's perspective, the medium tyres are past their shelf life, nearing a point where he wants to think about changing. He's coming up to lap another driver, this time a Buckstein car, who is receiving the blue flags. There we go, and he backs out of the throttle. No threat to him from behind. He doesn't have any incentive to stay in the path of Empire, and very fairly moves through. We've got the UK driver Empire ahead of the USA driver Vietita, ahead of Mexican Jose Luis Cervantes, and behind them another UK driver, Jailhouse Chris, for the Coach Dave Academy car. How close is he? Well, he's now coming up to put a lap on his teammate. So that's going to be a little bit uncomfortable, but I'm sure his teammate will give the tow and then just move aside, and he does so. There we go. Nicely done for Jailhouse Chris. So Coach Dave Academy drivers and other SVR members receiving a discount to use the Coach Dave Academy training system. They can study their own telemetry. We're very grateful to Coach Dave for their title sponsorship here of one of our fantastic team franchises, Jailhouse Chris. P4. We've got Focal running P6 behind Vice. Not a piece of grass, but Vice, there he is, on the hard tyres. As we wait for those first pit stops, the halfway point is approaching. We're starting the halfway lap, which is lap 13 of the 26. I don't need to tell you that, but Focal just running through as well. So none of the medium tyre runners are needing to pit before the halfway point. Let's see how deep into the race they get. I can't imagine the soft tyre being I can't imagine the soft tyre being a valid choice here. I'm sorry, Ads, but we just can't. As Ads goes into the pits off his soft tyres, again, that's hard to believe. But then we see Cyrus the Great make a pass on the Buckstein driver Nintendo. Meanwhile, Amac is chasing this group as well. Nintendo picking back up the pace. Here we go then. The possibility of a three-way battle heading into turns 1 and 2. Amac dipping out, but on the wrong racing line there to narrow up turn 1 and causing himself to slow a little bit as he runs through. But thankfully for him, all is well enough at this stage, and he can just follow and try and pressurize. Nintendo's still on the hard tyres, and the only hard tyre runner among these three cars as they run through Degner 1. Just looking for signs that maybe the medium tyres are struggling, but they're actually doing pretty well at this stage. No huge complaints. Oh, that was unexpected from Nintendo. A massive slide. Definitely a style point for the hold there. Unfortunately, he lost a position, but yeah, fantastic slide from him through that hairpin. And he will now obviously have to try and use the grip advantage he has at this stage, although it didn't look like it, to get back in front of these two drivers who have just passed him within the last lap or so. There's Ads still floating. No, he's not. He's stopped floating. He's actually decided to obey the laws of gravity at this stage and runs through. Then we've got Liquid Gecko in 11th and Enigma in 12th, with Run DMC down in 13th position. New set of medium tyres on board with him, picking up the blue flag. And John P down in 14th place. Still, the battle between our two leaders continues, and actually that looked like V8 Eater getting a little bit caught up, shall we say, behind the Kimmy's racing car that he's putting a lap on. Has to have disadvantaged him. Let's see how much that has cost him. That's another D'Alessi off. It's Empire! It's Empire again! Unfortunately, from a leading position in the race. And this is heading into the Casio Triangle. Is it going to be another traction snap on the way out of the Casio Triangle? Oh, yes it is. Oh man, that is so disappointing, unfortunately. And he'll be headed towards the pit lane, I imagine. I can't make up my mind whether he was attempting to or not. I think not. But that is absolutely heartbreaking for Empire as he spins just 90 degrees, but it's enough to put him into a deep gravel pit, and it takes a while to get back on the rhythm. V8 Eater then into the lead of our race for Team Mega, and has got a Kimmy's racing car between himself and Empire. 139.8 from V8 Eater, so it's difficult for me to tell the difference that passing the Kimmy's car at an inopportune point there made, because a 146.9 was Empire's lap 14. It's lap 15 now for the two leaders at least. Car number 90 having work to do, is now the Kimmy's car going off the circuit, managing to hold traction sufficiently to get back on without a spin, and Empire gets back in front, but his deficit now looking like 3 or possibly 4 seconds forward to V8 Eater's lead. So doesn't make it easy for himself, Empire, unfortunately, and I know he hates it when I catch his accidents, but being at the front of the grid means I have to go back and rewind and see what happened. Nintendo's pits, so does Amac on this lap 15 of 26, each off the hard and medium tyres respectively. 3 litres of fuel use difference between the two of them. They won't need a lot of fuel being added to the cars today, maybe just 10 litres or so in order to make sure they get the cars home comfortably. Fixed lap distance rather than time distance. Is that Kansas City on I don't know what KC stands for now either. I think, well, could be Kansas City. There on the Brokaga engine cover that I've just seen. And Empire does now pit. I'm surprised he didn't pit on the lap previously. Let's just have a little look here at the Brokaga car. Can't read. Does it say trees for all or something like that? I think so. An ecological message potentially from Jose Luis for his team, as Jailhouse Chris is probably a tax write-off. Potentially. Jailhouse Chris pits as well. V8 Eater still leads us ahead of Jose Luis now that Empire has pitted, and Vice on those hard tyres in P4, and that's a problem. That's another problem for a Kimmy's racing car. Which one is that? I'm assuming it's one of the drivers towards the back. It's not. Let's try and find who that was. Well, I can't. I've just been through the entire field and I couldn't find them. But Vice passes that Kimmy's car, who was at 90 degrees to the racing line there for a moment. V8 Eater leads Cervantes, leads Empire and Vice here. Vice still just about the distance of the back stretch maybe between himself and the lead of the race. with 11 laps to go, including the current lap that the leader is on, as V8 Eater continues to let these medium tyres run. And this is going to be an uncomfortable run here for Blonded, for V8 Eater, aka Blonded. Another Mexican flag there, so Blonded potentially racing under dual nationality, or dual national representation anyway. And Jose Luis pits here. He's down into third place now that Empire has closed in, and V8 Eater is taking this lap. This is a high-risk strategy. There will be a little bit of pace left in those mediums, but certainly doesn't appear to be struggling. I'm just worried about those front tyres. He's certainly used the fronts more than the rears. I imagine he's got his brake balance turned all the way to the rear, and then flirting with danger out on the grass with the edge of those two right tyres on the way into the next corner as well. So certainly not taking it too easy here. There should be more than a pit stop difference between himself and the former leader Empire of the race. So the 999 now running wide. That's the first indication that this may be a lap too long for V8 Eater, and a screech from the tyres as he rejoined the racetrack with dirty tyres that might have eaten away his pit stop advantage to Empire, the pre-pit stop advantage of something in the region of 3 seconds. Empire now on quicker tyres. He's gone for the racing soft tyres, so it's a medium to soft strategy. Not going to use the hard tyres at this point. Surely now V8 Eater decides that it's not worth running another lap. Why do we hold on this camera position? I will never know. But with 38 litres of fuel remaining and barely any tyre tread on those medium tyres, V8 Eater pits at the end of lap 17 with 10 to go. There's a yellow flag on the circuit, temporarily at least, for Empire. He manages to power on through, and then he's got to pass that Kimi's car once again. It shouldn't be too difficult. And there is Empire, having used all of his overtake, I think on this outlap procedure, as a way to undercut V8 Eater, and it has worked to absolute beautiful effect. And now another leader who has made a significant error. What happens here with V8 Eater? Does he cross the line on exit, or was it? He does. That is horrible. That is right on the border of acceptability with race control, but unfortunately on the line appears to be over the line for V8 Eater, and a 3-second off throttle penalty. He, however, having 3/4 of his push to pass remaining, and he's going to be so frustrated because he's going to pass this Kimi's car, then he's going to drop behind it again, and then he'll have to repass it for what might be the 4th time in as many laps. But V8 Eater, unfortunately, just causing himself some difficulty there, exiting the pits. A slight moment of inattentivity, perhaps, or inattention, I should say, on the way out of the pit lane, and picking up a 3-second penalty. It's a safety issue, generally speaking, pit lane exit, as Jose Luis makes light work of that Kimi's car. And now we're going to have those strategies starting to close together. Weiss, obviously, he had a simpler task here, but he now passes a driver who's just had an accident coming on through the underpass. Was it Enigma again? I'm assuming it was. No, it would have been his teammate. Excuse me. Just trying to find his teammate now. It's Jailhouse Chris. Let's just see. Was that the issue? No, I'm sorry. I'm not finding the problem there for a moment. There we go. It's difficult sometimes when on replay view. I need Hector for these moments to help me notify when there is an accident or incident. V8 Eater's gap then. He can see Empire, but that won't last for very long. Here we're about to hit the penalty marker point on the exit of this corner, Spoon 2. You'll see 2 yellow chevrons either side of the track, and he will just his acceleration will die a death. He'll have to change right down. He went down to 2nd gear, might have considered 1st gear even, but now with a huge mission to do. He thankfully didn't drop behind the Kimi's back marker, but Jose Luis Cervantes has overtaken V8 Eater, but he's got the soft tyres now. He's got a lot of boost remaining. Jose is definitely in with a shout here because of the mistakes of both Empire and V8 Eater, and he picks up a new fastest lap of the race. That's a 1:36.245 on lap 19 on fresh soft tyres. The fuel burning off. Should be fueled to a finish, and is now trying to absolutely maximise this early part of his second stint, using the overtake button, using the boost to as good effect as he possibly can. There's another purple sector by a third of a second from Jose, who powers on underneath the Ferris wheel here at the historic Suzuka circuit, and then down into the Degner corners under the overpass of the backstretch just before the famous 130R. That looked like possibly a slow trip through the Degner 2 there from V8 Eater. Is that what happened? Oh, and he's hit the wall. He's hit the wall. He's damaged his front left and his front wing. Oh man, this is a difficult situation then for our podium contenders. At the moment, it looks like Jose driving the cleanest race of the three of them. At the moment it's Empire ahead of Jose, ahead of V8 Eater, but Empire, having used every ounce of push to pass he has left in the car, may get himself into difficulty as he runs through the remainder of our race. Jose in second, V8 Eater in third. We'll keep an eye on those gaps for a little while, but as they close out their 19th lap of the 26, we've got Weiss down in fourth position, declined the soft tyres, went onto the medium tyres, isn't happy running hard to soft, went for the mediums for a little bit of additional safety through to the end of the race, but he did stop after several of our medium starters put soft tyres on, so he may look back at this and think that was possibly an opportunity missed, but he seems to be relatively safe in fourth position at the moment. Focal does not feel safe at all. He's in fifth place. He's on new hard tyres, would you believe, ahead of Jailhouse Chris in sixth place, also on the same compound tyre, just slightly younger by maybe a lap. And Jailhouse Chris, I've got a question as to whether he's going to make the end of the race on the amount of fuel he has remaining. Just over 1/4 of a tank of fuel remaining as ads comes through. The car looking a lot more stable on the racetrack at the moment, and debuting here in P7 with us in the Red Bull livery for now. Nintendo is in 8th place. We have Amac in 9th. We have Cyrus the Great in 10th, getting a blue flag for a Buckstein Transport Service car, who is making a heavy meal of getting past him and doesn't achieve the goal. I think that's Nintendo. Wow. No, excuse me, that wasn't Nintendo. I think that's his teammate, and that is problematic there. What is Run DMC up to at the moment? I wonder if he's had a failure of his equipment. No, he's releasing another car to go past him. Run DMC in 11th. Liquid Gecko in 12th. Enigma in 13th as Empire pits for the second time off the soft tyres. I think he may have decided he doesn't have enough fuel. This is pretty interesting to me. No damage on the car. So what's happening with this second stop from Empire? That is, you'd have to say, a surprise and possibly unscheduled. There's no fuel going in. There's no fuel going in the car. He comes out on a second set of soft tyres. I think he just wants to give V8 Eater and Jose Luis a chance here today. The 999 moves into second place as Jose Luis moves into the lead. He's got damage as V8 Eater. We saw that earlier on. And he's got half a tank full of boost remaining to him as well. 5 laps remain, plus the end of the one that they are on at the moment. And Jose Luis leads the charge with some boost, some tyres remaining to him. It's going to be an uncomfortable last few laps on those tyres. This then is Empire having come out just behind V8 Eater with a much better race car underneath him, but no boost. No additional fuel fitted, fueled up for Empire. He's got the bit between his teeth. He wants to get second. I'm sure he's looking for first position here. And maybe he knows something strategically that the rest of us don't at this stage, and he knows that Jose and V8 Eater will have to pit again. This is looking good for him, but he's got no, as I say, no boost to fight with. So if V8 Eater decides to use that boost in defence, Empire is going to have a really difficult time getting past. He doesn't know necessarily that V8 Eater has damage, but look at the effect of the slipstream having to take avoiding action and almost putting a wheel on the grass on the way into the Casio triangle and through the last curve, appropriately named last curve, and then a sign that V8 knows what's up. He knows what's going on as he starts to use the overtake button now to defend from the incoming Empire, who he will see at this stage of the championship as his main threat. However, if Jose Luis can complete this victory today, I'm sure he will enter the orbit of the threat group that these three drivers will start to think about. Oh, running wide. Is he open the door there to Empire? He has, through Dunlop corner and in towards Degner 1. V8 Eater, that's just the lack of downforce. And then, of course, he crosses behind the wake of the D'Alessi car in front. Wow, what a horrible section of track then for V8 Eater. Unfortunately, slipping down to third and almost losing the car for the second time today. Empire moves into second place. His gap, though, significant, you have to say, to Jose Luis Cervantes, who leads our race at the moment by something approaching 8 or 9 seconds, as far as I can tell. And Empire having made 2 pit stops today instead of the 1, which most drivers, I anticipate, would have been planning for anyway. Just trying to find out who those 2 cars are very close to one another. This is Cyrus the Great, and I think it is Run DMC, fighting over 10th position and fighting hard. Bergstein versus Jan Placht. Bergstein going the long way around the 200R and looking for an opportunity, perhaps an open door into Spoon 1, but he might do better just anticipating the dirty air, just concentrating on an earlier exit out of Spoon 2, using what tiny amount of boost is left to him. Cyrus the Great has loads of boost remaining, so if he decides to fight this one, he will have plenty of ability to. Then try and go side by side into 130R. Usually that ends in tears, and Run DMC unable to accomplish the move. Looked for a moment down the inside into the Casio triangle. I wondered if they were both going to make contact. The left end plate of the front wing of the Bergstein car looking very second hand. And this is the key battle then at the moment on the circuit, for position at least, as Run DMC uses all but the remaining maybe 1% of his boost in his attempts here to gain that all-important 10th position for his Bergstein Transport Service car. Cyrus the Great holding off at this stage, and he has saved a huge amount of boost. One of the largest amounts of boost remaining to any driver in the field at this stage, but it's clear that Run DMC has got some great pace. Cyrus the Great has front wing damage and hard tyres on. Run DMC has a clean car, no boost, and medium tyres. But he's scrubbing them out on the dirt as he gets caught in that dirty air. That looks like it's John P. D'Alessi behind this group. It's not a problem for Empire, approaching a very wide entry on the grass from Run DMC as he now goes side by side and they touch going through 200R. And that is a scary, scary moment for Run DMC, who's trying to just find a good line through. Cyrus the Great taking his natural racing line, but perhaps slightly squeezing Run DMC to the outside. Again, let me know what you think of the rules of engagement, whether they were adhered to or not here. And we'll join Run DMC as we take that long journey down the back stretch towards 130R to the left here. And running out of aero performance on that front wing, he's not going to launch a dangerous run in towards the Casio triangle. Both drivers right on the limit of the braking ability, and then it's contact, and it's contact, and it's back into the wall, and it is a frankly slightly uncomfortable moment for our drivers as they come through. Both of them very long on the brakes, both of them running out of grip. Jink to the right here, and then we have a door closed on us. We have unnecessary contact between the two, and then unfortunately contact with the wall for Run DMC. Again, I fully expect that one to be inspected by our stewards. Enigma's in 13th, Liquid Gecko in 12th, and John P in 14th. Here then is Jose Luis catching our debut driver Ads, and Empire still in second place, but still with a mountain to climb to try and get past Jose Luis. I'm starting to suspect I know why Jose Luis was so adamant that the S2 stream be done at the soonest possible occasion for him. As we head down into the Gautier-Thornton, you've got to be careful not to spoil the result for me, because my commentary is definitely hampered by spoiled results. So do your best if you can not to be too overeager. But here is Jose Luis Cervantes, his lap 25. He's got the penultimate lap started right now, and for Bro Carga this would be a real shot in the arm for the team, who are well represented by quality drivers, but unfortunately across at least the other divisions the results just haven't been going their way. It's an on-running joke of mine that it's not easy being green here in SVR 2025, but Bro Carga could really do with the win here from our Mexican Jose Luis. Empire unable really to make great inroads. Yes, that lap was 3 seconds faster than Jose's last one, but without the boost, and Jose having held on to a lot of boost at the end of this, I think it's going to be very difficult to overcome a two-stop strategy disadvantage and a pretty major off-track excursion and still win the race for Empire, for Alessi. Behind them, here comes V8 Eater, still with that pretty horrible damage on the front wing, front left suspension wheel that he suffered in the 999. He's trying to hang on here to third position, but Vice is definitely reeling him in. V8 Eater, both of them on very little boost remaining, but the medium tyres for Vice should be feeling pretty good at this stage. They're not quite into the 50% worn category, and Vice trying to channel a world champion Max Verstappen golden lion helmet. Is doing his best here to try and move forward. Nope, he says on the back wing. That's for anyone passing him, I think. And we're going to try and go the long way around the outside of 130R, and that is a big squeeze to the outside. But the natural racing line for Focal, that was always going to happen. Vice might reconsider on second take that he needs to switch, and then unfortunately going off the circuit, and our battle for third place is over as he spins into the pit lane entry. That is such a tough one to take for Vice. Had he not been off circuit through 130R, whether it's his fault or V8 Eater's, maybe he would not have lost traction coming out of that last curve and hitting the pit lane division. That is really tough. Heading through the Kobayashi hairpin though goes Jose Luis. You can see how far away Empire is currently. This is the final lap of our 26 that we have here for the S2 division in Suzuka. They'll be heading to their plane after the race and heading over one of the longest trips in world racing, from Japan over to Interlagos. Whichever way around the world you decide to travel, it's going to be a long one until we get into what will be almost a home race here for Jose Luis. Certainly one of the closest to home races that we have available to us this season, and running into the Casio Triangle for the final time. Bro Carga will exit the last curve, and Jose Luis will say thank you to the team because he's the winner of round 3 here in Suzuka. Jose Luis Cervantes completing it. Empire in second place, fighting back after adversity. And then it looks like V8 Eater, having survived that battle with Vice on the previous lap, is coming through the Casio Triangle now, somewhat delayed. We avoided any rain, and V8 Eater will be the final place on the podium for the Team Mega Transport Service Racing Group. Then we've got Vice in P4 coming through that chicane once again, and Vice is going to come home with a damaged front wing, a damaged front left tyre, and in P4, but I think should be happy to have managed to get 4th place after all of that. Focal, again another strong result here for Team Mega, 3rd and 5th pending, of course, any steward inquiry. And Focal goes through into 5th place. This is all provisional results across the board. It's not specific to that team I was referring to. As Jailhouse Chris comes through, passes Akimi's car off circuit at the moment. Jailhouse Chris in P6. Looks like it's going to be Nintendo who completes P7 very much on his own. Adds in 8th, Cyrus the Great in 9th, Amak in 10th, Liquid Gecko in that 11th position, I should say. And then hopefully we'll just get this these drivers off. We've got Run DMC, Enigma, and John P, the remainder of your race results. So those are pending any steward inquiries. If there are any updates, I'll let you know either in the comments with a spoiler here on this video or at the start of the next one. Well, thanks so much everybody for watching. It's been a real pleasure, and we will look forward to your company throughout the rest of this racing season here at the SVR VR Sim Racing World Championship. My name is Webbo. We are SVR, and thanks so much for watching. We will catch you on the next race day.